Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I want to talk to you tonight about a power that is already within you, a law so simple yet so profound that when you understand it, doors begin to open, opportunities start to appear, and life itself seems to rearrange to bring you exactly what you desire. This is not about luck, it's not about chance, it's about aligning with an unseen but unshakable principle of abundance. Florence Scovel Shinn often said that the game of life is played by thought, word, and action, and when these are in harmony, the universe cannot help but respond. Tonight, I'm going to share with you one secret, one truth, that can dissolve fear, remove limitation, and draw to you wealth, success, and blessings faster than you ever imagined. Words are not just sounds, they are seeds planted into the soil of the universe, and every word we speak begins to take root in the unseen. When Florence Scovel Shinn said that your word is your wand, she was reminding us that every statement carries creative power. The tongue holds the ability to bless or to block, to build or to break. When you speak words of increase, of faith, of expectation, you are aligning your inner world with the flow of abundance. Think about the times when you casually said something negative, such as, "I can never afford that," or "things never work out for me." Those statements, though small, are like tiny commands to the subconscious mind, instructing it to look for ways to confirm them. But when you consciously choose words that affirm your good, words like, "Everything I need comes to me at the right time," or "Doors of opportunity open effortlessly for me," you are programming your mind and the unseen forces around you to create the conditions for those words to become reality. The universe responds not to idle chatter, but to consistent patterns of speech. When your words match your belief, they have a force that can move mountains. Florence often taught that the subconscious mind is like a faithful servant. It does not question, it obeys. If you keep telling it that you are prosperous, it will guide your actions and your energy toward prosperity. If you keep telling it that money is hard to come by, it will ensure you see evidence of struggle. This is why your words must be chosen with the same care you would use when planting a garden. You do not scatter weeds and expect roses to grow. You plant deliberately, expecting beauty. When you wake in the morning, the first words you speak can set the tone for the entire day. Speaking words of increase such as today, "Everything works for my good," or "Unexpected blessings are coming to me now," is like giving your mind a script to follow. It is not enough to think positively. Your spoken word carries vibration, and vibration attracts like energy. This is why prayers, affirmations, and declarations have power. They are not mere repetition, they are alignment. The Bible says, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue," and Florence echoed this truth repeatedly. She reminded us that words spoken in faith carry an unseen authority, one that rearranges circumstances and draws to you what belongs to you by right of consciousness. Notice how easily people curse themselves with casual phrases like, "I'm always broke," or "I'm so unlucky." They speak these words without realizing they are reinforcing a pattern. Every statement is like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Florence's teachings challenge you to reverse this habit, to replace those limiting phrases with life-giving ones. Even if your current circumstances seem contrary, you must learn to speak only what you desire to see. If money is low, say, "Infinite supply is on its way." If doors seem closed, say, "Nothing can keep my good from me." Your words are not denial of facts. They are the declaration of higher truth. The spoken word also creates expectancy. When you boldly declare abundance, you train your mind to look for evidence of it. It sharpens your focus, so opportunities become visible where they were once hidden. Just as a radio tunes to a frequency, your words tune your life to the frequency of prosperity. Imagine your words as keys, turning the locks of doors you didn't even know were there. The beauty of this principle is that it works whether you are aware of it or not. That is why vigilance is so important. The words you use about your health, Your finances, your relationships, your future, they are not meaningless, they are blueprints. When you understand that every word has power, you begin to speak with intention. You eliminate words of doubt, fear, and lack because you know they have no creative value. Instead, you fill your vocabulary with phrases that affirm life, joy, and wealth. Even in difficult moments, you choose words that point to solution and victory. You realize that every time you speak, you are either watering the seeds of your dreams or the weeds of your fears. The choice is yours, and the harvest will always reflect the seeds you've sown with your tongue. Faith is the unseen force that turns thought into substance and expectation into reality. And when Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of faith, she described it not as mere belief, but as an unwavering knowing that what you desire is already yours in the unseen. Faith is the magnet that pulls abundance to you, the invisible current that moves people, situations, and opportunities into your life. Without faith, words are empty and actions lack power, but with faith, even the smallest affirmation carries weight and authority. It is the difference between hoping for something and claiming it as already done. When you walk by faith, you do not wait for physical proof before you believe. You believe first, and the proof arrives as a result. The universe, God, or whatever name you give to that higher order, responds to certainty, not doubt. When you say, "I know my good is on its way," and you say it with the quiet confidence of someone who expects the answer, you create a vibration that cannot go unanswered. Faith is not blind, it is vision in the unseen. It sees beyond the circumstances, beyond the limitations, beyond what the senses report. Florence often taught that conditions are only appearances, and that faith is the power that changes appearances. Think of a magnet drawing iron filings. Faith works the same way, pulling to you what matches your inner conviction. It does not need to know how, when, or through whom. It only needs to remain fixed on the truth that all supply is already present in the invisible. Most people fail to attract abundance because their faith wavers. They speak positive words, but in their hearts they doubt. They declare, "I am prosperous," yet they look at their empty wallet and feel fear. Faith requires you to stand firm even when everything external seems opposite. It asks you to see with your inner eye, to speak as though the promise is already fulfilled. There is a reason why scriptures and spiritual teachings across time have emphasized faith. "According to your faith be it unto you," is not just a poetic phrase, it is a law. Life mirrors back to you the measure of your belief. If you believe something is possible for you, you open the door for it to enter. If you believe it is out of reach, you unconsciously close that door. Florence's wisdom was simple yet profound. You cannot receive more than you can believe for. That is why expanding your faith expands your life. Every time you dare to believe in something greater, you increase your capacity to receive. Faith also requires release. It is not enough to make a statement and then continue to worry about when or how it will happen. Faith rests in the knowing that the answer is assured. It is like placing an order with absolute trust in the delivery. You do not place an order and then call every hour to see if it is coming. You expect it, you prepare for it, you make room for it. This is why Florence advised acting as if the thing you desire is already yours. Prepare the way for it. Create space for it. Speak of it as though it is on its way. Your preparation is proof of your faith, and the universe responds to preparation because it signals readiness. Fear is faith turned upside down. It is belief in lack, belief in failure, belief in disaster. When fear is present, it creates the same magnetic pull, but in the opposite direction. It draws to you the very thing you dread. That is why you must guard your faith like a treasure. When doubt creeps in, counter it immediately with words of certainty. When fear whispers that something won't work out, affirm loudly that all things are working together for your good. Faith cannot coexist with fear, one will always dominate. The stronger you grow your faith, the weaker fear becomes, until it has no voice at all. When you begin to live by faith, everything shifts. You stop chasing things and start attracting them. You stop forcing outcomes and start allowing them. You notice coincidences that are not coincidences at all, but the natural results of your expectation. You meet people who seem to appear at the perfect moment. Opportunities arise where none seemed possible before. Faith, when practiced daily, becomes a state of being. It is not something you switch on when needed. It is a constant atmosphere around you, a quiet strength that says, "Everything I need is already here, and it will come to me at the perfect time." When the mind is crowded with fear, worry, and thoughts of lack, there is little space for anything new to enter. And Florence Scovel Shinn often taught that clearing your mental atmosphere is essential to receiving your good. Just as a cluttered room makes it hard to move freely, a cluttered mind makes it difficult for blessings to find their way in. Abundance cannot dwell where fear has built a fortress. The thoughts you allow to live in your mind shape your experience, and if those thoughts are filled with doubt and limitation, they create a wall that keeps good things at a distance. To attract abundance, you must first make room for it, and that means identifying the fears, resentments, and negative beliefs that are quietly running your life and replacing them with thoughts of faith, trust, and openness. Fear is subtle and often disguised. It can sound like caution, like practicality, like self-protection, but beneath it lies the belief that something could go wrong, that you could fail, that supply might run out. Florence said that fear is inverted faith. It is faith in the wrong outcome. It is believing more in the power of lack than in the power of supply. To clear your mind, you must challenge these fears by shining a light on them. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Why do I believe this? Who told me this was true? Often, you will find that the fears you carry are not your own. They are inherited beliefs, words spoken over you, experiences from long ago that became patterns. Once you see them for what they are, they lose much of their power. Another form of mental clutter is resentment or unforgiveness. Florence taught that nothing blocks blessings faster than holding on to anger or bitterness. When you hold someone or something in unforgiveness, you are tying up energy that could be used for creation and growth. Your mind cannot fully open to new opportunities while it is replaying old wounds. Releasing resentment is not about excusing the wrong, but about freeing yourself from the weight of it. When you forgive, you clear mental space. You open a door for fresh ideas, fresh people, fresh circumstances to enter your life. Lack thinking is another silent thief. How often do you hear yourself saying, "I don't have enough," or "I can't afford this," or "There's never enough to go around"? These thoughts are subtle affirmations of limitation, and they create a vibration that pushes abundance away. The universe mirrors the state of your mind, and if your mental image is one of scarcity, that is what you will continue to see. Clearing your mind means training yourself to replace those phrases with ones that declare sufficiency and supply. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford this," change it to, "Infinite supply meets my every need." When the thought of lack rises, counter it with, "There is always more where that came from." Over time, these words shift your mental atmosphere and make abundance feel natural. To clear your mind, you also need stillness. A mind that is constantly racing cannot hear inspiration. Florence believed that guidance and answers often come in quiet moments, when the noise of fear and worry has been silenced. Taking time each day to be still, to breathe, to affirm your connection to something greater than yourself, helps sweep out the mental debris that piles up throughout the day. In that stillness, new ideas can surface. You may suddenly see a way forward you hadn't noticed before. You may feel a sense of peace that allows you to move with confidence. Another key to clearing your mental space is to watch the company you keep and the words you listen to. Conversations filled with gossip, complaints, or negativity feed the very thoughts you are trying to remove. Surrounding yourself with people and environments that uplift you is like opening a window and letting fresh air in. Listen to words of faith. Read things that inspire you and speak in ways that affirm life. Every input into your mind either adds clutter or clears it. When your mind is clear of fear and limitation, you begin to notice how naturally things flow to you. Ideas feel lighter, decisions become easier, and you are more open to the opportunities that have been around you all along. The world has not suddenly changed, your perception has. The lens of fear has been replaced with the lens of possibility, and through it you see that supply is not scarce, that blessings are not withheld, and that there is always a way forward for those who make room in their minds for good. Acting as if you already possess what you desire is one of the most powerful ways to align yourself with abundance, and Florence Scovel Shinn taught this principle repeatedly because it shifts your mindset from longing to ownership. When you act as though your desire is already fulfilled, you bypass doubt and fear and move into a vibration of certainty. It is not about pretending or being unrealistic, it is about demonstrating faith through action. The mind responds to signals, and when you behave in a way that matches the outcome you seek, your subconscious begins to accept it as truth. This inner acceptance then guides your choices, your conversations, and your decisions, leading you toward the very things you've been imagining. It's like setting a stage before the play begins. The actors, the lights, and the audience all align to make the performance real. Your actions are the stage, and abundance steps onto it, because it sees readiness. Florence explained that your outer world is always a mirror of your inner world. If you constantly act from lack, you create more lack. If you hesitate, complain, or postpone because you believe you don't yet have enough, your behavior reinforces scarcity. Acting as if turns this around. It sends a clear signal that you expect good things, that you trust the supply of the universe, and that you are prepared to receive. For example, if someone is seeking a better job, acting as if might mean dressing for the role, speaking with confidence, updating their skills, or networking as though opportunities are already on the way. If someone desires financial abundance, it might mean treating money with respect, managing it wisely, giving with faith, and refusing to speak of lack. Each action becomes a seed planted in the soil of expectancy. The reason this principle works so well is that it rewires your subconscious mind. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It responds to feelings and repetition. When you act as if something is already yours, you generate the feelings of ownership, confidence, gratitude, excitement. Those feelings create energy, and energy attracts. Acting as if keeps your focus on the desired outcome, not on the absence of it. Instead of feeling like you're chasing something far away, you carry yourself like someone who belongs to that reality, and the mind begins to seek out ways to make it happen. Ideas come more freely, opportunities are noticed instead of missed, and you become magnetic to situations that match your belief. One mistake people make is waiting for everything to be perfect before they take steps forward. They wait for the right time, the right amount of money, the right circumstances. Florence would say that waiting often keeps the blessing at arm's length. Acting as if is about moving now, even if it's in small ways. It could mean preparing your home for something you desire, clearing space for new opportunities, speaking with confidence about your goals, or surrounding yourself with symbols of your success. It is a way of demonstrating readiness, and readiness always attracts response. Imagine two people planting a garden. One keeps saying, "When I have the seeds, I'll prepare the soil," while the other prepares the soil now, trusting the seeds will come. Which garden will be ready to grow? Acting as if is preparing your soil. Another aspect of this principle is gratitude in advance. When you behave as though your desire is fulfilled, gratitude naturally flows. You thank life for blessings you have not yet seen with your eyes but feel with your heart. Gratitude is not just an emotion. It is a magnetic force that multiplies what you focus on. When you act grateful before the evidence shows up, you are essentially saying, I trust so fully that this is done that I can celebrate it now. That energy accelerates the process because it is free from worry and impatience. It becomes easier to give, easier to help others, easier to take bold steps, because you no longer feel like you are in lack. You feel supplied, acting as if also removes resistance. Doubt, fear, and hesitation shrink when you behave like a person who expects success. It changes how others perceive you too. Confidence and preparation are attractive qualities. People are drawn to those who seem certain, and opportunities often come through people. Whether it is a chance meeting, a business idea, or an open door, the energy you carry signals to the world that you are ready. Florence often reminded her students that life responds to the pictures and actions you project. If you project delay, life delays. If you project readiness, life delivers. Acting as if is more than just a mindset, it is a signal that you trust the process, that you believe in your own worthiness, and that you are willing to meet life halfway. Gratitude is one of the most magnetic forces for attracting abundance, because it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. And Florence Scovel Shinn often emphasized that a grateful heart cannot experience lack. When you give thanks for what you already have, no matter how small, you send a message to your subconscious mind and to the universe that you are ready for more. Gratitude creates an atmosphere of increase, an energy that multiplies blessings. It is easy to complain, to notice what isn't working, to feel frustrated by delays, but those reactions close the door to supply. When you pause and look at your life, acknowledging the gifts that are already there, the roof over your head, the meals you eat, the kindness of a friend, you open yourself to greater flow. Gratitude is not only a feeling, it is a deliberate practice of recognition, a way of saying, I see the good, and I expect more of it. Florence taught that gratitude is like a spiritual law. What you praise expands. When you appreciate the smallest evidence of abundance, you amplify it. If money is tight, but you receive a small unexpected amount, give thanks for it wholeheartedly. If an opportunity shows up, even if it seems minor, treat it as a sign of greater things. Gratitude does not wait for everything to be perfect, it celebrates along the way. And this celebration builds momentum. When you appreciate your current situation, even while reaching for more, you align yourself with the energy of sufficiency, and sufficiency attracts supply. People who constantly dwell on what they lack often find themselves attracting more lack because their minds are tuned to absence. Gratitude tunes you to presence, to what is already available, and that signal draws more to you. One of the secrets Florence shared was that gratitude clears mental and emotional resistance. When you are grateful, fear loosens its grip. You stop focusing on what could go wrong and instead notice what is already right. That shift changes your mood, your energy, and even your posture. It is difficult to feel anxious while genuinely giving thanks. Gratitude brings peace, and peace allows creative ideas to surface. You might suddenly see solutions you hadn't noticed before, because your mind is no longer consumed with worry. Gratitude is not passive, it is a creative act that changes the way you interact with the world. It softens impatience and replaces doubt with expectancy. Another powerful element of gratitude is its effect on relationships and opportunities. People are naturally drawn to those who are appreciative. When you genuinely acknowledge others, when you express thanks for their efforts, doors often open. Gratitude builds trust and goodwill, and opportunities often travel through relationships. Florence believed that blessing others and praising their success was a way to invite your own. When you are happy for someone else's abundance, you affirm that there is enough for everyone. This attitude erases envy and competition, allowing you to stay focused on your own path. Gratitude also expands your imagination. When you appreciate what you already have, you begin to see more possibilities. A grateful person can look at a small resource and see how to multiply it, while an ungrateful person may overlook it entirely. This is why Florence encouraged her students to give thanks not only for what had already arrived, but also for what was on its way. Saying thank you in advance sets the stage for manifestation. It is a declaration that you trust the process, that you believe good things are happening, even when you cannot see them. This act of faith draws those good things closer because it creates expectancy without tension. The daily practice of gratitude is a simple yet profound habit. Keeping a gratitude list, speaking words of thanks, blessing your home, your work, your health, and your finances. These small acts build a consciousness of abundance. The more you notice, the more you receive. Gratitude is like a lens that sharpens your vision. Suddenly, things that once seemed insignificant become valuable. A smile, an idea, a chance meeting, all become reminders that life is working in your favor. This is why so many people who adopt gratitude as a daily practice report feeling happier and more fulfilled even before big changes occur. The changes often follow because gratitude keeps your energy clear and inviting. Florence taught that lack and gratitude cannot occupy the same space. When you fill your thoughts with thanks, there is no room for fear or complaint. Gratitude raises your vibration, and that higher vibration attracts experiences that match it. Even when challenges appear, a grateful person looks for the lesson, the hidden blessing, the opportunity within the difficulty. This perspective keeps you open to solutions and resources. It keeps you resilient when others might give up. Gratitude is not ignoring reality, it is choosing to see the good within it. And as you keep noticing and acknowledging the good, it grows, and as it grows, your life becomes a reflection of that ever-expanding good. Divine timing and trust are two forces that work hand in hand to accelerate manifestation, and Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students that what belongs to you will not pass you by. There is a rhythm to life, a perfect unfolding that takes place when we stop trying to force outcomes and instead align ourselves with the flow of good. Many people block their blessings because they become impatient or anxious, thinking things are taking too long. But what they do not realize is that timing is not a barrier, it is part of the design. When something arrives too early, before you are ready, it can slip away. When it comes at the right moment, it feels effortless, as though every piece falls perfectly into place. Divine timing is not delay, it is preparation. It allows you to grow into the version of yourself who can handle, enjoy, and sustain the blessing you seek. Trusting that process is an act of faith, and that faith removes fear and tension. Florence often taught that when you release control and surrender the how and when, you allow infinite intelligence to do its work. The mind wants everything instantly, but instant results often overlook unseen steps. Divine order may be arranging connections, clearing obstacles, or aligning people and circumstances on your behalf. Trusting this unseen work requires patience, but it is not passive waiting, it is active expectation. You keep preparing, keep speaking words of increase, keep acting as though your desire is already fulfilled, but you do not worry about the clock. You know that what you seek is seeking you, and you believe that every day brings you closer to its visible form. This mindset keeps you calm and focused instead of scattered and fearful. When you embrace divine timing, delays no longer feel like disappointments. They become part of the story. Florence would say that nothing is ever late, some things are simply ripening. Just like a fruit that needs time to grow sweet, some desires need time to mature. Trusting the process means understanding that there is unseen progress taking place even when your eyes see nothing. The roots are growing before the leaves appear. When you are aligned with this understanding, your energy changes. You stop rushing. You stop comparing your journey to others. You find peace in knowing that your good is secured and cannot be taken from you. This peace itself is magnetic because it keeps your vibration steady. And steady vibrations draw things faster than scattered ones. Another part of trust is letting go of the need to control outcomes. People often block abundance because they insist it must come in a certain way. They pray for money, but believe it can only come through their job. They hope for love, but believe it can only come through one specific person. Florence taught that when you limit the channel, you limit the blessing. Trust opens your mind to infinite ways for supply to reach you. It might come through unexpected people, unexpected opportunities, or ideas that suddenly appear. When you are relaxed and open, you notice them. When you are tense and fixated, you miss them. Trust is like lifting the lid off a box and allowing life to pour in freely. Patience and trust also protect you from fear-based decisions. How many times have people settled for less because they believed something better would never come? Acting too quickly out of worry can close doors that were about to open. Trust gives you the strength to wait, not in passivity, but in confidence. It gives you the courage to release what is not right because you know something better is aligned for you. When you trust, you stop chasing things that are not meant for you and save your energy for what is truly yours. Florence reminded her students that forced situations rarely last, but what arrives by divine law stands firm. Divine timing does not mean doing nothing, it means doing the right things at the right time. It means showing up, preparing, improving yourself, but not panicking. It means being ready so that when the door opens, you can walk through it without hesitation. Trusting timing also keeps you grateful for the present. You begin to see the value in the stage you are in. Maybe right now you are learning something that will make your next step easier. Maybe a delay is protecting you from a mistake. Maybe what feels like waiting is really building your faith. These moments are not wasted. They are shaping you. Florence would say that when you trust the timing of your life, you walk with a lightness because you know you are not alone in your efforts. You have released worry and replaced it with certainty that every step, even the quiet ones, is moving you toward your good.